So I just want to talk a little bit about creating for yourself some limitations for the work that we do and how that informs the types of solutions we create. Solutions or art or music or whatever you sort of define what you want to make. I'm somebody who takes on way too many things. Like I just am constantly making stuff and I never have time for really anything else. Give an example, I do some, so this definitely is actually a little bit about me. I do some photography work. I spend a lot of time walking around, finding cool things to just like capture, make, take home, and just sort of keep for myself. This is the first time I've really like shown these to people, even though they're on the internet. But I spend a good portion of my time trying to find sort of metaphors and creating in one space to help me understand how I can better create in another space. Has anybody here, did anybody here come from an art school? Yes, okay. Cool, I actually expected 0, but that's there's a huge amount of your time ends up being spent sort of like understanding what your limitations are, and a lot of times during our drawing classes, or like drawing classes, we would spend time, we'd have drills, basically we'd have 5-minute drills such as this one to try to get the form down, and then that would be reduced to 2 minutes, to 30 seconds, and so on and so forth, until you start to focus more on the broad picture rather than the fine details of what you're trying to get done. And that sort of way of thinking, only until recently, maybe 2 years ago, I realized is something that I apply, or that I think we all really kind of apply to a lot of our work. Before we choose the appropriate technical architecture, we're not necessarily just picking something out of the box, we're sort of trying to imagine what the broad stroke is, what we need to do with this piece of software, what we need to do with this application experience, or what we want to make in this music. So there's this game called the 20 song game in 12 hours. Does anybody play that game? It's really a game, it's a competition with yourself to try to finish 20 songs in 12 hours. Nobody ever really makes it there, as far as I know. I definitely don't, I'm not that skilled of a musician. But I'll just give you I'll give you a sample in a second, but the whole idea is that it focuses you, much like the left drawing experience, to focus on just the things that matter, so the creative structure, without getting too caught up in some of the minute details. I think we tend to, and we can all appreciate or recognizing ourselves the times that we spend over optimizing on one thing, when the rest of it could have used a little bit more attention. So you end up with like things that end up falling way out of sync. Hold on, let me skip ahead. So I spent, can you hear this well? So I spent a lot of time this is just like GarageBand, like hanging out with a guitar by myself for 12 hours in my house, and trying to find some structures that I liked. And if I showed you, I wish I had the file here, but if I showed you what I made earlier in the day, it was very, very different from what I made at the end of the day, because earlier in the day I spent really 5 hours straight on one song where I was tinking pots in a microphone just putting cups on my marimba and trying to see what different unique sounds I could make, just to record and try to create structure. And I spent so much time on this one song trying to come up with a single concept, where every single song after that became much more rushed, or much more about, and rushed is not bad in this case, much more about just finding a form that I can work with. And so in creating these limitations for ourselves, I'm not going to show you that one. So I've got weird titles for my songs too. So
1 minute?
We wouldn't ask.
I'm gonna get there. So we have, so in this case, I might try to find, so this is using Figure. Does anybody use Figure? It's by Propellerhead. It's so cool. There's a bunch of, the app itself provides a number of limitations for how you can interact or how you can create with it. And that sort of creates for you you can create subsets of limitations you want to create for yourself. So in this one, I'm just going to turn the BPM to max and see what I can do with it. And it's you don't need a lot of, basically this just does things for you. That's a fast Putin. And then I tried to use it at BPMs all the way up, but try to create something that felt slow. This is all done while I'm on a flight panicking because I'm terrified of flying, so I'll be doing a lot more of this. And Mast, which is inspired by toilet jokes.
Gross.
This doesn't really sound like toilet, but it's just fun stuff. Really, I didn't have a sense of what I should share with you, and I think 5 minutes is definitely up, but I guess to kind of conclude, I think it's important to go broad stroke out, try other mediums, or try experiments of limitation, even if they don't necessarily apply to a project at hand, just to discover new forms, new ways of thinking about any one given solution or creative act. All right, thanks.